Just 4 days before Double or Nothing 2025, the May 21 edition of AEW Dynamite came from New Mexico for the final stage of the pay-per-view. The finalists of the men and women's Owen Hart tournament finals with face-off in the ring. So yeah, we got all of that, and MJF was looking to officially join the Hurt Syndicate, but we started things off with Will Ospreay putting over how much he wanted the World Championship and announced they would main event Double or Nothing. Hangman Page explained why he needed it. The aerial assassin demanded the Cowboy to be his absolute best and made sure that the best man won that could defeat Jon Moxley. They stared each other down all the way to the back. It was obvious that both men had thought what they needed to say in the final face-to-face. They saw what makes them both fan favourites. Ospreay with a hot head, but with big dreams for his destiny. He sold his disconfident in the moment, tripping over his words, as well as confidence focusing back in time. Hangman was calm but emotional, saying what it means for him to be in gold. He nearly broke down at the end. This was as good as it could have been. It set the stage for a huge babyface run for whoever comes out on top in the main event on Sunday. So yeah, this was great stuff. And then after an intense fight between rivals in the first match of the night, Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks taking on Swerve Strickland in the Ops. It was Samoa Joe who caught Nick Jackson in a coquina clutch after Swerve ducked the EVP trigger while the Mogul rolled up Nick Jackson for the free. Jon Moxley launched the Death Rider attacks on the face until Shibata made his return. When Shafir low blows Shibata, Wilder and Nightingale pounced her. Omega arrived and gave Claudio, Wheeler and Matt Tiger suplexes and followed with a V-trigger to Matt. Claudio saved Matt for a one-winged angel through the table. If anyone needed a preview to buy into Anarchy in Arena, this was an incredible selling point. Everyone was on point for this high-energy battle. The Samoan submission machine looked as smooth as he has done in months. Swerve and the Bucks had untapped chemistry to explore. Morks made Hobbs look a beast. While the post-match brawl was less clean, it was good to see Shibata and Claudio back fighting in the ring. It's hard to fully figure out which member of the group will be involved in any arena, but any combination, including Willow Nightingale, would be excellent for me. And on the most part, I really enjoyed this. 8 out of 10. Smart Mark Sterling then facilitated the signing of MJF into the Hurt Syndicate, requiring that MVP Shelton Benjamin and Lashley also signed. Dustin Rose and Sammy Guevara interrupted the celebration. The Natural warned the Hurt Syndicate that they were day one guys and had faced Washington Benjamin and Lashley could dish out. That felt awkward, but some of that was intentional. It seemed like something could go wrong at any moment, particularly for MJF. In the end, it all went down clean for the moment. It may take a while figure out what happened and everything that was signed. In the meantime, it focus shifts for the tag match, and while the Hurt Syndicate versus Sons of Testicles is rushed, Dustin did a good job of selling it. Sammy probably could have been given a couple of lines to tell his investment, but the crowd may have booed him, which would have been counterproductive. So yeah, I can understand why they did it like that. We then got Ricochet v Anthony Bowens, and Bowens had Ricochet on the ropes, but the one and only stabbed him with the gold scissors and hit the spirit gun to win. Afterwards, Mark Briscoe came out with a stretcher and teased hitting Ricochet with a froggy bow on the stretcher, but the one and only escaped. This was a surprise match to throw together just before Dynamite started, but it worked as a valuable test for Bowens rising up the ranks. He never looked out of place, fighting Ricochet blow for blow. This was not a spot where Bowens could win, but it looked like better man before the cheap victory by Ricochet. While this was arguably unnecessary, I think it will help Bowens rebound. And if he goes back to squashing ROH talent on Collision, only do the last minute of the segment will truly matter, as Briscoe teased what was to come in their stretcher match. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't come to that. I'll give it 6 out of 10. We then got Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter, who tried to stay calm for Renee Paquette, who facilitated the face-to-face. However, after both sold why they needed to win, Hayter brought up the CEO losing the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, and Moné lost it. In the brawl, Moné struck first, but Hayter laid her out with a Hayterade. It was always going to be a tough match to live up to, with the example of Hangman and Will Ospreay earlier, but this was a great promo on merit. In particular, Hayter sold her position in this match and why she can't afford the loss. She was poised and confident without discounting her top-level opponent. The CEO put over what makes her a step above the competition. This is exactly why she needs this spot. The reason for Moné to win is against Timeless Tony. It's the biggest women's match AEW could deliver. However, on the other hand, Hayter could use this win to launch her back into the top of the women's conversation. Moné had plenty of women she could fight at All In for her TBS title instead. Either result makes sense, but fans have an easy answer in Hayter on who to root for in the final of the tournament. We then got Mina Shirakawa versus Julia Hart, and Shirakawa struggled through this match to keep the advantage against Hart, but she finally caught her with a stack-up pin for free. Afterwards, an angry Hart attacked Mina until Sky Blue made the save. Storm and Mina worked together to clear the ring. Double or Nothing opponents then wrestled over the Women's World Championship. Mina snapped out and went after Nia Storm, wrapping her leg around the steel post for a figure 4 leg lock. Whether it's nice to see women in the main event spot, this is not a full main event, as it was not the last segment of the night. For that reason, it didn't feel as big as it could have done, and Mina is still defining her character in AEW. So it's a good match that further allowed number one contender to shine. Hart did a good job putting Mina over without losing her own mistake, and it's a kind of screw finish. The aftermath was more important as it confirmed Hart and Blue were working together, and Mina's unpredictable persona. At multiple points it looked like the match was kind of looming, with Mina being a heel, but her moments of brutal intensity so that she may not just be the fun-loving babyface. Storm should no longer underestimate what Mina can do, and hopefully Double or Nothing will fully illustrate that. I thought this was a really fun segment on the whole, and yeah, definitely brought towards the story, so I'll go with 6 out of 10. The Bucks then called Samoa Joe a liar as the show was about to end, but the Samoan submission machine came running in with a trash can. A brawl broke out between all members of the Anarchy in the arena, led back to the ring. Omega and Swerve held the ring while Willow and the Ops dominated outside. Gabe King and Mariah to blast Joe with a briefcase and turn the tide. The fight ended with the Bucks diving onto Omega and Swerve through the tables outside. In the early trios match, this was conventional in-ring preview for Anarchy in the arena. This is a brutal follow-up, teasing the violence to come. Everyone got their shots in, and alongside a man competing in Anarchy in the arena turned the tide. There was nothing to stop Kid from doing this again on Sunday, but the face team has to figure out who they need in reserve to balance the scales. Eddie Kingston's cleared, he would make the most sense, or even maybe Darby Allin, but Bryan Danielson as well would be great. Maybe Hook, so many options, and yeah, just can't wait to see what it's going to be. And overall, Dynamite gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I thought, yeah, this was on the whole a really fun episode of AEW Dynamite. Yeah, it gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I think Dynamite's in a great place right now. Really can't wait for the pay-per-view. I think, it's probably one of the hottest streaks they've been on in a while. So yeah, this was great stuff. I can't wait to see where it goes. 7 out of 10. Hey guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.